At every con, I ask Alex to draw dicks. Well, you haven't done a con in a long time. That's one thing you don't like doing no more is cons, right?
I've only for the past, outside of that one time we met at Joe Fest, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. I've
2021, yeah.
I've only done New York Comic Con for the last 8-10 years, something like that.
You doing it this time?
I'm only going. I didn't get a table this year. I got a lot going on. I'm not a fan of cons, so I'm only going to go.
Well, why don't you come hang out with us at Legion's Con?
Yes, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there with Bobby. We're all going to be there. Everyone on screen here is going to be there.
You know who has a booth or a table at Legion's Con?
Who?
Fucking Patricia and Riot Press.
Patricia does?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm serious.
Tell them what?
Yeah.
No.
This is going to be interesting.
You might have another Rumble.
No, he goes to Joe Fest.
Oh, and yeah.
Why would he be at Legion's Con? To do what?
Know.
Selling his wares.
Selling his knockoff shitty Transformers.
Yeah.
Now, are you allowed to tell the story now, or do you just want to message it to me in another time?
Well, it starts with Alex, because
Really?
Alex and Bobby went to school with him.
This is Comic College.
Comic College, yeah. The Kubert School. And we were buds for about 15 years or so. And then one day he got pissed off because I didn't want him using my artwork for his political shit and make himself look better to the people he had around him. And
Comicsgate?
What's that?
Was it Comicsgate?
Yeah, it was Comicsgate. Which is, I mean, I don't have a problem with the Comicsgate gang.
Right.
I'm actually friendly with Shane. But just don't fucking try and use my shit to further your clout, or it's and on top of that, he was talking shit about a guy that I was working with at the time, a guy that was coloring or lettering a book that him and my friend, his co-partner, were working on. And
I'll just say real quick.
Yeah.
All he does is talk shit about people behind others' back. He does is talk shit.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunate.
Private chat
and he does it behind the scenes, and he's a snaky, weaselly dude. So go
He's
ahead.
a cobra.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is the first time he did that, and I said I can't go on your show for reasons. It was going to be me and Bobby on the show, and I told him I can't do it. And then Bobby was like, "Dude, if you're not there, I'm not going to go on." And I was like, "Listen, I'm still friendly with this guy, so if you don't go on, he's going to throw a big hissy fit. So just do me a favor and go on." And Bobby actually did go on his show, and he said it was an awkward show.
It was horrible.
So he doesn't see that part where he wouldn't have had Bobby on the show if it wasn't for me. So
and by the way, when you guys were in school, all he did was talk shit about Bobby, and then Bobby's in the toy industry, and all of a sudden he wants to be Bobby's friend.
Right.
Of course.
He wants to,
Well, that's it.
Yeah,
Sounds
which is
like a real
a
douche.
good example of the kind of person he is. I'm looking back, I don't really think he's ever had friends. He's only had people that he called friends, but he needed something from them,
Sure.
Yeah. So the second time I told him I wasn't going to go on a show for, the reasons I told you, that's when he blew a gasket and, talked shit about me to all 25 of his viewers at the time. And then I found out later, shortly thereafter, that after he talked shit about me, I did a little research on YouTube, because he was going on this lady show called Mandy Summers.
Yep.
And
she's working on
Mandy
Pit right now with
oh, really?
Yeah,
She's kind of the reason for all this stuff, how I found out about all this stuff, because during COVID, I would watch this show called Toxic Femininity.
Yep.
I can't remember what channel it was on.
Midnight's Edge,
right? With
Tom, yeah.
Right. And she, I always thought she was cool because Southern chick, doesn't buy in all to the, the woke stuff.
Good.
And then I saw that he was actually on her show. She interviewed him, and on that show, he was passing off the work that I did professionally as his own. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And then I looked up his name and other interviews, and it was doing the same thing. And later on, I found out that that's kind of like his MO. Like he would just go on, and not only like the stuff that I worked on, but also like my professional experiences, history within the industry. Like, for example, and it could either be that he was just telling my stories, like what happened to me as his own, but it could also be that he followed up on my contacts. So, for example, I became really good friends with the licensors from that own Dick Tracy. They're called Tribune Media. And they own like a whole bunch of other like old newspaper, timey 1930s stuff. And I hit up the licensor and I became really good friends with him. His name is Stephen Tippy. He's no longer there, but he loved my artwork. I was actually working on like getting some Dick Tracy comic book stuff started, like my own creative own stuff.
Oh,
and later on, I would find out that like this douchebag is like going on interviews and like saying, "Oh yeah, I was friends with the Tribune and I had some stuff going on." And he would mention editors that I worked with, where he would talk about how he was like developing stuff with them, which is complete bullshit. But like, you see what I mean? It's like he's like not only passing off my work as his own, but he's passing off like my comic book industry experiences as his own, which is just
like he's living through you.
Yeah, like dude,
hearing your stories and telling him.
And it's really because I was his only link to the industry. For 15, 20 years, he was trying his hardest to get his foot in the door. And I would give him like editors' names. I would tell him how certain companies, the editors would write out their emails so he could contact them. I did everything short of actually giving him my work, So it's really funny though, because like one time I'm sorry, last part of the story, Ryan.
No, it's all good.
One time I was working for the Batman editor, the Batman group editor. Group editor is in charge of all the Batman editors and their books. And one time he was just thirsty for like work, but Batman work. And at that time I was working on something for Batman. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Take my these Batman pages that I did and color on top of it. Maybe you can get some color work. So he did it. And I gave it to the Batman editor, and the response, I was like, give me your honest opinion because I need to tell my friend, where he's at professional wise. And he just fucking cut him down. He talked about his color choices, his palette work is, he's sloppy, this, that, and the other. And I remember reading this email to him word for word. And like halfway through it, he's just like, stop. I don't want to hear anymore. I'm like, are you sure? Because I think you need to hear about this stuff. But
you need to hear that shit.
Yeah. He was so, it should have made him quit, because there's one thing that I always said is like, if you've been trying for like a good 5-10 years and you're like in your 30s, still trying to get in the industry, you should stop. You're probably not, 99% of the time, you're not going to make it because you've shown your stuff around to the, a bunch of people, you've gotten the feedback and you're not getting any better. So just cut it out.
Talent is something you're born with and then you hone it with training in school. Exactly. And he doesn't have the talent.
He doesn't. And not only that, it's like one thing I noticed about, because we had a conversation about this very thing that you're talking about. He's happy, or he was happy just being mid or below mid. Like artists, whether you get better or not, you're always evolving, you're always changing. Like, Frank doesn't draw the way he did back in the 80s now. It's worse, but
it's horrible. Yeah,
it's horrible, but the change, you always evolve. And he's always been the exact same from
just
day one at the
just plateaued.
Just not even here, kind of like here, So and he was, and exactly. And he was like, it's harder for people like me and easier for people like you. And I was just like, I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, oh, he's happy just being below mid. Like he's okay with that because he thinks that he can talk himself into a position, but it always comes down to like
I wouldn't mind those things you just said about him if he wasn't an asshole on top of it, which he sounds like he is.
Well, this is kind of where I come in.
Yeah.
Because he learns about the 3 POA and because he's following Bobby.
Yep.
And he starts messaging me on Twitter to come on the 3 POA. And
messaging you to come on the 3 POA. Okay.
Yeah. I want to come on and I want to come on and I want to talk. I want to
Now, did he get
talk
his
about
chance?
my Transformer. I'm in Seekers. And
Listen to him talk. My God, LP,
Dude.
it is brutal.
Yeah,
When
so-
Ethan e-fapped him, oh my God.
oh my God. So little does he know, I've been following Comicsgate since like 2017.
Yeah, it was a big
And
deal.
I'm friends with Alex, who has told me all about this guy. So
Yeah.
I would see him on Ethan's streams and be like, oh, this is that guy. Like, this is that, you know. And so I left him on red. Like, when he asked to come on the show, I left him on red, you know. And then I don't remember how we actually finally contacted, but we talked. Oh, he was in the 3POA chat. And then he messaged me about other stuff, and I responded. You know, I never talked about my show because I didn't want to have him on my show, and I never, even back then. And then he had me and Kato on his show. I was like, okay, I'll go on your show and listen to this bullshit. And the whole thing was like very passive aggressive shit talking about other guys in Comicsgate and
Great.
how they were trying to do a con, like some con or something. I don't know. And at some point during the show, it was so boring. I was on the panel. I barely said anything. And finally I was like, I'm out. And I just left the stream. I was like, this is stupid. And I just dipped out of the stream. And he ended up coming to PowerCon with Ace. So him and Ace are at PowerCon. They have a booth, which is like right behind the Valorverse booth. And so after, like, I think the first day of the show, Bobby's like, hey, let's all go to dinner.
Yeah.
And then Patrick came around the corner. He's like, hey, guys, we're going to dinner. And Bobby's like, oh, you want to go?
He told me about that.
And so Pat, like, tags along to dinner. It was so funny. So we all get separate checks, but then Bobby grabs my check, he grabs Jordan's check, and he grabs Ace's check. And Bobby pays for dinner, and then there's Patrick with his check, and he pays for himself. I'm sitting there like, damn, that is cold-blooded that Bobby just did that, but it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Did he make sure, like, Patricia saw that when he did it? Did he, like, you know, make it clear that he wasn't paying for his?
He's too stupid to catch on.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Like, this guy doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Right? So Pat adds me to this group thread on Twitter, and it's called the Riot Press, which is his comic company. Riot Press Champagne Room.
Ooh.
So I'm in this group thread, right?
Yeah.
I'm in this group thread, and this whole group thread is him shitting on the people that he streams with from Comicsgate. That's all it is. He talks shit about John Malin, Ethan, a lot of shit about Mandy and Shane Davis, right? Again, he didn't know I was a fan of Ethan and Shane and all those guys. I got their books right here, right? So I'm just like in this thread. Listen, and Eric July was in there, right?
Yep.
As soon as the shit talking starts about Ethan and stuff, Eric July, all of a sudden he says something. He pops up and he says some shit. By the way, this whole thread is available online to read, thanks to me, because I downloaded after being months being in that thread. I downloaded the whole freaking thing, and because Ethan was having him on his show still at the same time and meeting up with him for lunch. And I'm like, you need to know who this guy is. And so I sent him that whole Twitter thread, which I had to pay $20 for an app to download the whole thing, compile it into a PDF. But I said that, I'm telling you, Ethan monetized that freaking thing. If I'd have known he was...
Oh my God.
He probably made $10,000 in super chats reading that thing on his channel.
Holy
yeah, because when the Dungeoneer thing happened, right? So I'm following all this. I have no fucking idea
hold on.
Dungeoneers, what's that?
The Dungeoneers are Pat's group of friends because after Tampa Bay Comic-Con, they all go to this sex dungeon club. And they're live streaming from it. There's a dude walking around with the butt plug with the horse tail hanging out of his ass. They're live streaming all this, and so they started getting called the Dungeoneers. They even had a song like Ethan had this dude make a song called the Dungeoneers, and it sounded like the Mickey Mouse Mouseketeers. It was DUNGEONWERS.
So good.
Yeah.
So funny. So they were the Dungeoneers. Irene Strakowski was in there, and Cecil, and anyway. So I send this to Ethan, and he monetizes it. I'm still in that group thread, and they don't know who sent the whole thing to Ethan, and they're freaking having a meltdown. And his wife is in there. What's her name?
Whitney.
Whitney.
Bitch.
Yeah, she is. Whitney's in there like just there's no shame in admitting what you did. Just tell us who you are. And I'm in there like, what? Whatever. And
well, Ethan LP's like, I've got spies everywhere, and they're still sending me stuff. And this is watching this, and I swear to God, I wish I could go back in time to let myself know it's LP.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And so, this is all out there, and like John is doing streams and reading it on his stream, and but they were nice enough to keep me anonymous, right? So they wouldn't show the PDF because it would show like who was, like when I piped up and actually said something, it would show on the other side of the screen, like a text message thread, right? So they wouldn't show it on screen. I remained anonymous, but after a while, it was kind of obvious. I think that it was me, so I was like, Ethan, I don't care. Just say whatever just show it on the screen, read the whole thread to everyone. I don't care if Pat knows it's me, because what the fuck is he going to do?
Yeah.
Well, he was kicking people out too, wasn't he? Out of that room, trying to figure out when he thought who the mole was.
Dude, Billy Tucci was in there. I think Mike Barron was in there. There was, but people were like dropping out. I think Graham Nolan was in there at one point. But yeah, so those guys were like, I'm out of this thread. No one in there liked him except for the select group of Dungeoneers, like him and Irene Strakowski and this kid who's doing a book called Phenomenova. What's his name? This little twink.
Yes.
Blaine. So
anyway, so that came out, and then so this is where I really started to hate him.
Yeah.
He, in his stupid brain, he thinks that I work for Bobby. I'm Bobby's employee.
Well, you don't?
So he reaches out to Bobby.
Von Coleman.
I don't. Von Coleman. So Pat reaches out to Bobby, and he says, hey, I just want to let you know that your fat friend Latherpanth, he was in Ethan's stream, and everyone was being really racist, and they were talking about raping Whitney, and I'm like, what the hell is all this? I have the screenshots from Bobby. Bobby's like, he just told me all this. I'm like, it's all a lie. I said, and Bobby didn't believe it anyway. I said, that's all a lie. I said, go watch that stream. Yes, I'm in the chat, but no one is saying anything like that. That's all a lie. Right? And so he did that, trying to get me fired. So he's this Comicsgate guy. He's this Comicsgate guy, like
fired from your make-believe position at Valaverse.
Yeah, so he's this Comicsgate guy that is apparently anti-cancel culture, lying about me to get me canceled and fired from my job that I didn't actually have.
That's how it always works.
So I'm like, oh, this guy is pure scum. This guy's total dirtbag. And then
fucking because he doesn't have the balls to do it to your face.
Right. And then he DMs me all this stuff about, I thought you were a cool fat guy, but you're just I don't remember.
You're just a regular fat guy.
Yeah, you're just a regular fat guy.
He's fucking fat too, and he's balding, and he fucking paints his nails like a.
He does. He does all of that, and
yeah.
By the way, none of that pissed me off. The only thing that pissed me off was when he was lying, and like being a total cancel culturist. I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah.
Which was like antithetical to the whole Comicsgate thing, right?
Yeah.
So
the whole reason they formed.
So he does that. He kind of does his version of cussing me out. He posts on Twitter, "Hey everyone," and he takes all the Dungeoneers and he's like, "Hey, block this guy Laserpants because he was the one that leaked the threat." I'm like, I don't give it.
He's a fucking fat guy.
Go ahead, but he does this after he blocks me. So he talks all this shit about me on Twitter after he blocks me. Crazy. So I'm like, that's a pussy move.
Absolutely.
So anyway, and then he says, someone's like, oh, well, that laser pants is like horrible, and he says, yeah, it's okay, I'll see him at a con, and I'm like,
what is
bro,
you're gonna roll on him.
Yeah, like, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna see him at Legion's Con. Yeah.
Oh, my God, man.
Yeah. The funny part is Bobby didn't get involved really in any.
No, not at all.
at
No.
all.
Yeah.
But when Bobby and this guy shared the same videographer, editor, video
Matt.
dude, Matt, right?
Toy addicts.
And I don't know why, but this dude was talking shit about Bobby and his business. And when Bobby got a wind of that, because Matt relayed that message to Bobby, that's when Bobby went scorched earth.
Well,
And
Bobby always hated him because he knew
he
about
did,
the old stuff, but he remained cordial.
Yeah, exactly. Even when the stuff was going on between, us and you and him, he didn't get involved because, he just doesn't care enough about him to get involved. But when he started, dude, I don't know if Bobby showed you the messages, but Bobby don't play when it comes to his business. So he was just like, dude,
No, it's scorched earth.
I'll get my lawyers involved if you're, defamation.
And listen,
what are you going to tell me about my business and that kind of shit?
Right. And Pat did the same thing. But here's the thing. Pat has no money.
No.
Riot Press is not making any money. Those knockoff Transformers aren't selling. It's just
he made toys or a comic.
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
really
he has a
bad
comic
eating
called
cards.
Johnny Phantasm and then Last of the Seekers, which Johnny Phantasm is actually kind of original, but the Last of the Seekers is just the Transformers.
But he didn't create him. He might have created some of his look, but I think I told you this. He co-created it.
Yeah.
No, he co-created with so this guy called Evan Posius, who's a really good guy, writer. I met him. So he met him through me. And this is another example of what a little grifter this guy is. This guy, Evan, commissioned me 8-10 years ago. And then he commissioned me to do a book. Remember that book that I told you was picked up by the UK? That was written by Evan and drawn by me, kind of co-created. So I was like, let me throw my friend Patricia a bone and have him color my pages for that Evan and I are doing. This guy made thousands of dollars coloring the books, 8 books.
Wow.
And then he goes on his show and says that I never did anything for him in the comic book industry. Funny enough.
Right.
But so then he went behind my back, and I'm not a gatekeeper. You can decide to work with whoever you want to work with. It's a two-way street. Evan did say yes when Patricia approached him about doing their own book, which was Johnny Phantasm. He co-created it, the only original idea that he ever did. And after 1 or 2 books that they did on Indiegogo, Evan calls me out of nowhere and he's just like, dude, I just can't work with this guy anymore. It's just it's all about him. Every idea that I write down, put on piece, he totally disregards it. It's only about what he wants to do. I'm not working with him anymore. I'm just like, dude, I fucking told you.
Yeah.
But it's like every friend that he's had, he's just always burned that bridge.
He burns every bridge.
Yeah.
Dude, he had an opportunity to work with Dale Keown making a pit omnibus, and he burned that bridge down because he's a dumbass.
Yeah.
Yep.
He could have had his name on a pit omnibus, and he's too stupid.
Well, he's got the Seekers and Johnny Orgasm, so.
Yeah, when Ace
Johnny
learned
Orgasm.
that whole thing, LP, and then Ace was starting to get hooked up. I was like, oh my god! I think I messaged you. I'm like, please God, tell me
I stay at. You know what? That's Ace's thing. I don't get involved. I don't say anything to Ace about him. That's him and
The
Ace's
only thing
business.
I have said, in this kind of forum to Ace or would say to him is just might not happen today, tomorrow, or a year from now, but he's going to burn that bridge. So just be careful. But it's another funny little story, and
I'm just not gonna be on the hook for tortious interference. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, warning.
Right. But it's funny when Evan left Johnny Orgasm, that was his only that was Patricia's only source of income, from what I understand. So for some reason, he wasn't able to ask Evan, as co-owner, co-creator of that book, can I still continue to do it on my own? He had Shane Davis, who never talked or met Evan before, call him up and ask on his behalf if it's okay for him to continue to do Johnny Phantasm because it's his only source of income. Which is like, dude, fucking grow some fucking balls, man. Not only is this guy Evan a friend of yours who amicably left your project, but even if he was like not that close to you, it's like you still have a business relationship with him. It's a conversation that you should have with him yourself. Not yet. I have no idea why he would even ask Shane to speak on his behalf. I don't know.
Because he's a fucking pussy. I can tell you, man, during that live show when LP said Patricia, I just fucking guffawed in my basement down here. My God. I'd never heard that version of him.
Yeah.
Scott says, I looked up those Seekers. Holy crap, they look like they're straight out of Dollar Tree. Why are they neon? So he gave me, Patrick sent me a Seeker when he thought I was his friend. He sent it to me. I never even opened it. I'm like, this thing looks like trash.
And it sucks. That sucks.
I put it on my table at a toy show, and this guy's like, how much you want for this? I said, $30. He goes, I'll give you 20. I said, done. The stupid Seeker, this lame robot, it's like, I think Pat had them retail at $80 each.
Oof.
Jesus Christ, man.
Jeez,
80?
man.
Oof. Are these going to be at Legion's Con, the Seeker table? Probably.
Apparently. I don't know. I didn't see him on the
Can't
list.
wait.
Oh, whatever.
Alex, please, God, go to Legion's Con, Alex. Please.
Dude,
Please.
honestly, if I go, there's going to be a fight for sure.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why? With the Seeker guy?
I think you guys have to understand, like, I welcome this guy into my, like, I know his mom, his family. Like, this guy totally just shit on me.
Oh, dude.
Like, not only that, he talks shit about my wife.
Yes, it was in that. It was in the Dungeoneer files.
Yeah, my wife treated him like royalty when he would visit, dude. It's like, for like, why? Because you have a different political stance than my wife does. It's like,
yeah. So he went off like
shit,
he randomly went off on your wife in the Dungeoneer room.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, this guy is.
It's
actually stumped because it was unprovoked. Like, most people in there didn't even know who you were.
Out of nowhere. Like,
and he just started talking. Yeah, I was like, why is he doing this? And that's when I think that was the linchpin when I was like, I'm exposing all this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, I get that. Then I understand that.
He went after Alex's wife, and he said, like, Alex, he said something like, you married an SJW cunt
like
or something like that. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know my wife's politics. Like, he thinks he does. But he's a really big conspiracy theorist, and he uses that shit to overcome his own character flaws and his own shortcomings. So if I see him, dude, and I don't want to put you, like, if I'm at your table, Ryan, and like I see him, like, I don't want to involve you in that. But I will fucking jump on him, and
I'm rethinking, like, asking you to go, like, maybe
because I know how you felt about everything that happened at San Diego Comic-Con, and how
I don't want no part of that, man. You know,
I know, and I don't want to involve you. Like, if anything, I would tell him, like, all right, now what? Let's step outside, so I don't have to involve everyone. But I don't give a shit about not being invited to a convention.
Yeah.
These conventions, Alex.
I could care less about that shit, you know. But at the same time, man, I can't. I would punch him right in his pacemaker. To be honest,
you put him. There's a thing at cons, and I go to a lot of cons, and I haven't hit this area yet. There's something called the danger zone. And if you're in that danger zone,
the kill zone.
Why are all these toy nerds wanting to fight, man? It's so
because they never have gotten into one. So I guess it's now or never. So I may as well.
Yeah, dude. And I'm like, I don't consider myself a toy nerd. Really, I mean.
Well, I'm not even talking about you. I get it. He went after your wife. That's different.
The difference between me and him is I'm not a tough guy. I'm not trying to say, but I always stuck up for myself. In fights all the time, elementary, high school, even as an adult. So I'm not afraid of that motherfucker, man. That's for sure.
It sounds like
that motherfucker cannot fight. The last fight that he got in, I saw, and he, the other guy walked away looking shiny, clean new, and he walked away with a black eye. So that motherfucker, I know for a fact.
Wait, tell me about this fight.
Where was this at? Hubert School, and he got in a fight with a guy.
That's fucking cool.
He was roommates with this chick who slept around, and there were a couple guys there who thought that they were that girl's boyfriend. And they were having a house party. And when it was getting too late, Patricia asked, boyfriend to get out because, get out of my house. It's late. The party's over. The
Yeah.
guy was like, no, I'm fucking so-and-so's boyfriend. I can stay the night if I want. He's like, no, you're not. You're just one of many boyfriends. Get out.
Oh, damn.
They got in a fight. Dude beat his ass. Next day, we were doing a convention that I split a table with Patricia, by the way, because he doesn't have the credentials to get his own. And I see him and he sits down. He's got a fucking shiner. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Dude that beat his ass was also a student at the Kubert School. Came to his table, apologized, and the dude is looking like he just took a shower at Rosie Daisy, not a mark on him. So, and
Hilarious.
plus, Patricia's told me before that if he ever gets in a fight, he's scratching, he's pulling hair, he's biting because anything goes. I'm like, all right.
Apparently, Whitney's the one you need to like watch out for. She's the man in the fucking.
Yeah, dude. I mean, she's got to be embarrassed sometimes.
That sounded like the origin story for Johnny Orgasm. But
my camera went dead. My camera just went dead. All right,
you
guys.
lost the power.
I gotta call it a night, anyways.
All right, this turned out being the fucking Patricia show, man.
Many of us
this
don't
is cool.
know.
I never heard this story, Alex.
Yeah, I thought it was very. I liked it, and now I know one more weirdo to steer clear of in this spectrum.
Yeah.
All right, guys.